Hello guys, welcome back to the channel and to another video where today I want to discuss what on earth is going on at Dagenham and Redbridge Football Club. In May 2024, the newly arrived ownership of club underdog North 6th Group vowed to build our vision step by step and turn Dagenham and Redbridge into a fixture in the higher tiers. After a stable 15th place finish in 2023-24, fans were excited about the campaign ahead under boss Ben Stevens. Early season optimism was fueled by a dream FA Cup run. Dagenham upset Crewe and Wimbledon to earn a third round tie at Championship Millwall, cementing supporters' belief that this could be a historic year. However, league form was mixed. In September, the Daggers showed promise with a 7-1 home win against Gateshead, followed by a 4-0 win at home to AFC Fylde in October. These results, though, proved to be false dawns, as by mid-October, inconsistency had set in. As the season wore on, even home games against fellow strugglers became must-wins. For instance, on the 29th of March, Dagenham faced Maidenhead in a must-win clash. Josh Reese's late goal delivered a vital 1-0 win, temporarily staving off disaster. But elsewhere, other results went against Dagenham and exposed just how precarious their position was. The turning point came in late 2024. On the 21st of December, Dagenham were thrashed 3-0 by lowly Wealdstone, a result described as a frankly horrible day, which saw their biggest defeat of the season. Behind the scenes, supporters blamed chronic off-field discord. Following a 4-2 home loss to Braintree, Chairman Dan Hall sacked manager Ben Stevens on Boxing Day, with his family finding out elsewhere while sat in the clubhouse. The timing and the nature of the sacking stunned fans. Stevens had just overseen back-to-back FA Cup giant killings, and the hasty announcement angered many. While the new owners had promised League One dreams upon takeover, they had instead overseen the club's very heart being ripped out, and were on course to drive the club to their worst league finish this side of the millennium. Fans insisted Dan Hall was one of the main culprits contributing towards the club's downfall, insisting he needed to get his head out of the clouds as the failures were in no small part down to appointments he had made. Supporters viewed Stevens' sacking not as a push for success, but as the first in a series of damaging decisions. Assistant boss Lewis Young was immediately put in charge on an interim basis, and then surprisingly handed a 2.5-year contract in early 2025. Many fans and pundits found this absurd, since Young had been alongside Stevens throughout the slump in form. On the field, Young's men struggled to turn their fortunes around. A win at Relegation threatened Ebbsfleet on New Year's Day 2025 offered relief, but inconsistent results followed. Although Dagenham scraped past Rochdale 1-0 at home on the 14th of December, their league form remained poor, with draws and narrow losses piling up. By mid-January, even a local derby at Essex rival Southend failed to ignite a spark, the Daggers falling to a 2-0 defeat against their nearby rivals that supporters described as a disgrace, overpowered by a side who had more about them on every conceivable metric. Meanwhile, the squad itself was destabilising. Club legend and captain Elliot Justin, ever present between the sticks, grew disillusioned over a contract dispute. In February 2025, the club lost Justin in humiliating fashion after a drawn-out saga which saw him leave for Malden and Tiptree, 2 leagues below. An unbefitting end for a player who devoted so much of his life to the club. Fans fumed that despite his form having wavered, Dagenham had lost an irreplaceable leader at a crucial time. At the same time, several key loan players, Romany Critchlow, Luca Woodhouse, and popular forward Junior Moraes, were allowed to return to their parent clubs for unexplained footballing reasons. They were all replaced by fringe signings with little experience. By March, the season was unravelling. Dagenham did briefly rally, winning 3 of 4 games in late March, the high point being the aforementioned victory over fellow relegation rivals Maidenhead. But this was merely false hope. By the 5th of April, a 2-1 loss at Gateshead who, may I remind you, they had battered 7-1 at Victoria Park in September, plunged the Daggers into the relegation zone. They needed to beat Hartlepool at home on the 12th of April to stay alive, but only drew 1-1 despite playing over 70 minutes against 10 men. Just as on-field fortunes hit rock bottom, off-field events sparked another crisis. On the 14th of April 2025, the club announced that Egyptian YouTuber Marwan Seri was joining the ownership alongside club underdog. Seri's pitch promised to promote the Daggers to the highly passionate Arab-speaking world, globalising the club's reach. He declared his ambitions of taking Dagenham to the Premier League, even comparing it to playing FIFA in real life in a Sky Sports interview.
I feel like a child playing FIFA as a gamer, and suddenly it becomes reality.
But the honeymoon lasted only days. Within 48 hours, a scandal erupted over Seri's colleague, new director of development, Salma Mashour. A historic Instagram post of hers resurfaced that appeared to condone the 7th of October Hamas attacks on Israel. On the 17th of April, the club quietly announced Mashour's dismissal. Supporters immediately erupted. The blowback was fierce. As the North Londoner newspaper reported, fans swamped the club's social media with hostile comments, even issuing threats. One longtime supporter described how hundreds of thousands of followers, drawn by the Arab media frenzy, sent death threats and rape threats aimed at us and our families. He added, "It's an attack on us, on ordinary fans, on our community and our club." At an emergency fans forum, many voiced that they didn't feel comfortable supporting a club whose owner seemed to back a terrorist organisation. Unsurprisingly, on the 19th of April, Seri himself pulled out, only 5 days after signing, announcing his full withdrawal and cancellation of all plans. The whole ordeal left a toxic mess in its wake. The club's social media had ballooned by 500,000 new followers, only to lose many in protest once Mashour and Seri were gone. One fan lamented that the Daggers had become something they no longer recognised, as an obscene influx of cult-like Middle Eastern followers and lofty slogans overshadowed the club's traditional identity. No exposure or potential sponsorship is worth selling your soul for, the blogger warned. In short, the Seri saga damaged both the team's unity and the fans' trust. When the final whistle blew on the 26th of April at Victoria Road, a late-day 6-1 demolition of Altrincham, in which Dagenham finally delivered a spectacular performance, was too little, too late. The win merely denied their opponents a playoff place. It could not undo a season's worth of damage. A 1-1 draw away at Solihull Moors on the final day of the season was the nail in the coffin that sealed the Daggers' fate. A place in the bottom 4 of the 2014 National League, and with it came relegation into the National League South. In the eyes of many, the once proud non-league giant has been let down, not by on-field talent, but by gross mismanagement. The appointment of a manager seemingly in well over his head, the mishandling of club legends, and the derailed fantasy ownership project were each cited as fatal blows. Looking ahead, the focus must be on rebuilding both the squad and supporter faith. But after a season marked by silence behind the scenes, betrayal in the dressing room, and a 5-day farce in the boardroom that drew global shame, the hardest truth remains. The only people who truly bled for the badge were the fans, and they were the ones left to pick up the pieces. A dagger to the heart of a club that once prided itself on being more than just a name. So guys, there you have it. That pretty much sums up what has been an incredibly bleak season, both on and off the pitch, for Dagenham and Redbridge Football Club. One that I hope they are able to put behind them and bounce back from into the National League next season. Given the turmoil the fans have experienced this season, a bit of success is no less than they deserve. Guys, if you have enjoyed the video, please do not forget to leave a like and of course subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you never miss an upload. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.